We are joined with Anne Flanagan of the Future of Privacy Forum. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Courtney. Great to be here.
Well, what are some of the areas of transportation that you expect AI to play a big role in?
Wow, that is a great question because the reality is that AI can really affect any area of transportation right now, hopefully in a really positive way when it comes to driver safety, cybersecurity, ensuring that the supply chain is optimized, that innovation and research and development themselves are optimized. Really, the sky is the limit. Anywhere there's data, there's potentially the potential to use AI.
Now, you all deal with the ethics surrounding this technology. What are some of the risks that you see?
I think one of the biggest risks we see is to forget about people themselves and potentially the implication of technology development on people. So when it comes to transportation, for example, obviously we all need transportation in our daily lives, but how we use that transportation is really, really important. And I think when you throw AI in there, if it's not properly thought through, not properly tested as it is developed, and people are not thinking about potential harms at the end of that product development lifecycle, that's when we run into difficulties. I think one of the most important areas and one of those practical things people can do right now is really look at the data that's being inputted into the development of AI systems in transportation. That is a great place to start. There's obviously a lot of personal data in the equation, and really just minimizing and making sure that using privacy enhancing technologies to make sure that that data is really handled in a way that's not going to create privacy or other harms later down the line for folks.
Now, to that point, what are some of the ethical considerations that developers should have in mind?
Absolutely. So when it comes to the considerations for developers themselves, I think we can categorize AI use into the people who develop the AI and people who actually deploy the AI. So when you're developing the AI, you really want to make sure that as you're going through that development process, that there are various checkpoints. The National Institute for Standards and Technology has a risk management framework around the development of AI, and it really talks about tagging the data, mapping the data, making sure that there are internal governance processes in place to identify and mitigate harms ahead of time, including things like bias in data sets that can result in technology that's not being developed with everybody in mind, that's being developed in an inequitable manner, and can have harms for minorities, for example. On the other hand, you have the deployers of the technology, and that is folks that may not be AI developers themselves, but may procure a third-party solution. What do they need to know when they're engaging with their vendors? What checklists do they need to have in place for their employees when they're implementing that technology? And FPF released a generative AI checklist in that regard last year that really helps companies to think through that process.
Now, what advice would you give the transportation sector as this technology advances?
Transportation sector is in a really good place as this technology evolves, particularly because it's already a highly regulated industry, but has so much innovation and so much cutting edge thought in there. So I think the transportation sector is used to engaging with policymakers, used to engaging with the public sector, really being able to articulate the value and the harms and where the industry needs to move as a whole going forward to minimize and mitigate any risks that may emerge from the evolution and the implementation of AI in transportation. And at the same time, it's really important that they use their voice to highlight the benefits and highlight the opportunities and to really work together in that dialogue to make sure that whatever policy solutions are developed are pragmatic and are really going to solve for any of the problems that are seen.
Anne, very good talking with you.
Great
Thank
to
you
chat
so
with
much
you.
for the information.
Thank you so much, Courtney.